had an affair with a married woman, and I don't regret a thing. This is going to be long. Sorry. I want to start by saying I know that infidelity, especially within the confines of a marriage, is morally the wrong thing to do in pretty much every case. No, it's every case. Don't even put the pretty much.
Let's hear him out. It's
every case,
No,
dude.
let's hear him out. That
said, I do not regret committing that morally incorrect action, and that makes me feel guilty, or at least conflicted. By the way, this comes from user deleted on the r/okstorytime subreddit. I met Stacy in high school.
Ooh.
We dated a little bit our senior year, with me driving her to school quite often. I was mad about her, but I don't know why looking back. She was just so different than me. Very bubbly, very happy, always laughing and joking. It was someone I enjoyed being around. We dated all through college, which for us meant long distance, as I went out of state for school. After college, within a year, we were engaged.
Oh, wow.
And preparing to move for me to take a job. She was incredibly fond of her family and therefore found the transition hard. I should also mention here that we both grew up religious and therefore, probably for the worse, waited to have the spicy sleep until marriage. We participated in other types of intimacy but felt that we should draw a line somewhere. Well, once we were married, that didn't really ever change. We struggled a lot sexually. Stacy never wanted to have the spicy sleep. In fact, we never did have spicy sleep and didn't even try to have the spicy sleep for an entire year of marriage. She convinced me that my constantly trying to bring up sexual contact was actually my own problem and was an unhealthy obsession. Ooh, the guilt runs deep. She called me a pervert for wanting to have the sexual relations with my own wife.
Oh boy.
After a little more than a year of marriage, I agreed to do marital counseling. We were supposed to do it together, but I agreed to go by myself first to feel the person out. Me going by myself at first turned into her never actually going.
Oh, dang.
She ended up telling me that I needed to work through things and that our problems stem from my own problems with communication and being in a relationship. That our problems were actually entirely my fault. She never went, even after promising she would go soon for months.
Dude, that's so tough that she's just putting all the blame on him.
All the blame on the husband.
I like, in a way, is she even attracted, or does she still have this religious guilt that this is like something she can't even do?
Guilt. I think it's like just 10 layers of guilt.
Yeah.
It was around this time that I met Jennifer. Jen was someone I worked with. She was not someone that stood out to me right away. I was never looking for someone to be with. I thought that I was struggling in my marriage, but Stacy had me convinced that I was indeed the problem. Stacy was great, after all, and I felt like I deserved to put in some work to earn her love. The first time I had more than a 2-minute conversation with Jennifer, it was immediately apparent that our personalities meshed well. We joked together, and she actually listened to me with interest rather than being the more domineering one like Stacy.
Oh, God.
I slowly realized I was looking forward to seeing Jen each day at work more than I looked forward to seeing Stacy when I got back home.
Oh no.
But,
oh no.
Yeah, you are looking so guilty right now, dude.
Yeah, this ain't a good look, dude.
You're like, guys, I know it's bad to do infidelity, but she gave me attention.
Guys, come on. I haven't had spicy sleep in forever.
Yeah, we talked and it went well, and my wife won't have sex with me.
Come on, see my point.
Jen was married, and I was also married, and I told myself crushes happen, so I needed to just refocus my energy on Stacy and our lives together. Stacy had, in that time, convinced me to move back home and take a different job so we could be back closer to family. As we prepped the move, Jen and I somehow spent more time together. She wanted to help me pack and told me she would miss my company.
Oh, wow.
Bro, Jen had a crush on you too.
Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh. After I moved away, I found myself longing for Jen's company. I knew I was feeling something that was morally wrong to feel. It was only a few weeks after this that I confessed to Jennifer over the phone that I had feelings for her, and I knew that she likely shared those feelings.
Oh, boy.
We both felt conflicted and stupid. Jen confessed to me that her husband regularly, did the big SA.
Some sensitive content was said here, so basically we're going to sum up that Jen's husband was a really bad person.
Very bad. This guy, now I'm starting to understand why OP is not guilty, because this guy that Jen was married to belongs in a black hole. OP says, I was appalled to learn of her husband's behavior. Stacy sensed my distance from her and made an ultimatum to shape up or leave. She knew I was pulling back, and in truth, I was, because I got a crush on Jen. I had begun to realize the way Stacy talked and treated me was not loving or appropriate. We had a screaming fight one night where she told me that if I couldn't fix my communication issues, she wanted a divorce. As soon as she said those words, I just said, all right, if that's what you want. She didn't know what to do from there and just began shouting at me about giving up on us. She was right. I had given up. I was already having an emotional affair, though I was in denial at the time. The next morning, Stacy woke me up at 5 a.m., her mother on the phone for some reason, and Stacy demanded I tell her for sure if we're getting a divorce. And I said, are you sure you want me to decide right now? Her mother talked her down. I decided to leave and told her to give me a few days to think things over. I left and I drove for hours all the way back to see Jen.
Wow.
Jen left her house and met me at a hotel, and we spent a weekend together. We did do the deed. It was essentially the first time I had done that with anyone, since Stacy never actually did. We knew we were doing something wrong, but frankly, we didn't know how else to break away. Jen said she was getting divorced from her husband after all the abuse and thanked me for giving her the courage to do so. I told her I was getting ready for a divorce as well. Stacy actually called me while I was with Jen, demanding that I tell her if we're getting divorced. I asked her why she couldn't wait for me to get back like I asked, and she said that it wasn't fair. So I told her on the phone that we were done and I would be back to pack my things. I had an affair with Jen. We both had an affair with one another, actually. I think this was the morally incorrect thing to do, but it'll never be morally incorrect for you to join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Just tap it.
Just tap it. So...
Wow. On Jen's case, she was in a really bad situation.
Yes.
She's gotten out of it.
Yes.
Right. That's all we're going to say on Jen's case.
In
we are hoping the best for you, Jen.
Jen 100% needed to get out of that relationship, and I 100% support her having an infidelitous moment with OP. However, that being said, I think OP is acknowledging that it's still infidelity and it's morally wrong, but I can't believe that I'm now in a place where I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. I understand.
I understand it. I don't think it was
I don't think it was
the right thing to do. I just think he knows it's the wrong thing to do, but he doesn't feel guilty because of how much was bottled up.
All the context surrounding
over
it
all
really
years.
does make it,
and that's why he's conflicted,
more palatable.
He's like, this is a morally wrong thing, but I don't feel guilty because of all the things that have happened.
I'll certainly say it's not right, but it's way less wrong than I anticipated it being.
Yeah, still wrong.
By several factors.
Still wrong.
Believe it or not, 9 years later, I am still with Jen. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's unexpected.
Oh wow.
Well, I guess it was the right move after all.
This is a rom-com. This is just literally a rom-com.
This is a whole movie script for
wow.
sure. I moved to a whole other part of the country and got a new job, and we've now been married for 7 years. We are incredibly in love. We do have scars, mentally and emotionally speaking, from the experiences in our first marriages, and we also have occasional problems with jealousy of coworkers or friends, but we have always been upfront and honest about those, and honestly, I don't see this relationship ever ending, or at least nowhere near like the way my last one did. I don't know what I'm looking to gain here. I just know that engaging in infidelity is wrong, and I don't want to excuse it, but for me, I would never take it back. Maybe we just had a good reason. You did. But either way, we're happy, and I felt the need to put this all down. I don't know why. Thanks for reading. Well, it's called catharsis, OP, and you needed a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And I hope you got some.
I'm glad that they stuck together with the person that had an affair with. That's good.
I wasn't expecting to get the 9-year fast forward, but hey, it's nice that you guys are still together.
Yeah, that's amazing.
If you're gonna commit infidelity, it might as well be with someone you stay with for a decade, right?
Yeah, and both of their partners were so self-centered, Jen, and it seemed like OP wanted to give and have a thriving relationship, and they were able to thrive with one another.
Stacy has really escaped any sort of criticism from us during this time.
Well, we already know how
I don't think
Stacy's like.
We don't gotta waste any breath on Stacy.
No,
it's all here what Stacy is.
Yeah. I'm just surprised she agreed to get married.
Well, they were doing it in probably in the spirit of the Lord.
Yeah,
they were definitely. That was a young.
I definitely
marriage
know
mistake.
People that are probably dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Well, that's just what happens when you let like hardcore ideology. I mean, not calling just like Christianity hardcore, but like where it's like you got to wait till marriage and then you got to be with this person. And it's like, then if you ever leave that person, you've made a huge mistake and you are wrong in the eyes of God.
Adultery is like one of the 10 commandments not to commit adultery.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the... There's even one more that's like, don't even think about being with another person, because if you think about it, then you're basically committing it.
Oh, wow.